The claim, the whole claim, and nothing but the claim. That's what you should look for in command of evidence textual literary questions. Now, there are three types of command of evidence questions. There's command of evidence textual literary, command of evidence textual scientific, and command of evidence quantitative. Each type of command of evidence question will ask you to pick an answer choice that either supports or weakens a claim given in the text. Today, we're just going to focus on the command of evidence textual literary questions. They're less common than the other command of evidence questions, but they do present a challenge to students because in these types of questions, you get quotes for answer choices. And students often look at the quotes and think, wow, any of these could work for the claim. But what students often miss is that they need to pick the answer choice that supports the claim, the whole claim, and nothing but the claim. Answer choices will often refer to parts of the claim. But if it's only partially relevant, it's wrong. The correct choice will encapsulate the whole claim and contain nothing irrelevant to the claim. Let me show you how this works in practice. In the 1889 poem Transfiguration, Louisa May Alcott reflects on the death of her mother, depicting the contrast of joy in the face of grief. Right away, I see that this is from 1889, which means I can expect that there is going to be some difficult language here. There are going to be unfamiliar words that I won't understand. I'm not going to worry about it. I can expect it to be challenging, but remember, it's going to be challenging for everyone else on the test too. So we want to brace ourselves first. This is not going to be language that we use every day. To add on to that, this is going to be a poem. So we're probably going to see a lot of figurative language here. Language that's not literal. 1889. This is a poem. Probably not going to be easy, but that's okay. It's going to be hard for everyone else too. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on what we know. We're going to look at the words that we do understand and use them to answer the question. We're not going to spend too much time trying to decipher every single part of every single answer choice. We don't need to do that to answer the question, believe it or not. We're just going to focus on what we understand. Now, the question itself says, which quotation from Transfiguration most effectively illustrates the claim? We remember when we say claim, we mean the claim, the whole claim, nothing but the claim. What is the claim here? Well, it's right here. The author, Louisa May Alcott, reflects on the death of her mother, depicting the contrast of joy in the face of grief. Reflects. What does reflects mean? Well, to reflect on something means to think about it. What is she thinking about? The death of her mother, who passed, unfortunately. And as she thinks about her mother's passing, she depicts or shows the contrast or difference between joy or happiness and grief, sadness. So she's thinking about the passing of her mother, the death of her mother, and as she's thinking about it, she is showing the difference between happiness and sadness she's feeling in that moment. So the correct answer choice is going to have elements of all of this. We're going to see evidence of reflection or thought. We're going to see evidence of her mother's passing. And we're also going to see the contrast or difference between joy, happiness, and grief, sadness. Let's take a look at the options. As we work through the options, again, we want to look for all parts of the claim. The correct answer choice will reflect the whole claim, nothing but the claim. So we will see evidence of reflections on the death of the author's mother. We will see happiness or joy, and we will also see evidence of sadness or grief. As we work through the options, we are going to label these three with these colors. If we see any thinking about the death, we will use bright pink. Happy thoughts will be orange, and sad thoughts will be green. The correct answer choice is going to have a combination of all three colors. Let's start with choice A. Mysterious death, who in a single hour life's gold can so refine, and by thy art divine change mortal weakness to immortal power. All right. Well, right off the bat, we see a reference to death in that first phrase, mysterious death. The next phrase says, who in a single hour. Well, who is the who that we're talking about here? The phrase immediately before talks about death. So probably death. Death in a single hour. Life's gold can so refine. Not sure what that means, so let's move on. And by thy art divine. Thy art divine. Well, whose art divine are we talking about here? Well, again, probably death's. That's how the quotation starts. So it's probably referring to death's art divine. Change mortal weakness to immortal power. What is this referring to? Again, probably death. Death in a single hour, life's gold can so refine. Whatever that phrase means, we're not going to worry about it right now. And by thy art divine, by death's art divine, change mortal weakness to immortal power. So death in a single hour is changing something about someone's life. That's not the complete quote, but again, we don't want to spend too much time trying to decipher phrases that are unfamiliar with us. We want to focus on what we know. And right now, we see a lot of pink. Looks like this answer choice really just reflects on death. We don't see evidence of joy. We don't see a discussion of sadness. Sounds like this is just a statement on what death does, on the impacts of death, on how death changes something about people's lives. For that reason, we can eliminate choice A. Choice B. But ere the sense of loss our hearts had wrung, a miracle was wrought, and swift as happy thought, she lived again, brave, beautiful, and young. Well, starting from the top, but ere the sense of loss, a sense of loss, that's sadness, our hearts had wrung. That sounds a little bit odd, but the sense of loss our hearts had wrung probably means the sense of loss our hearts had felt. If our hearts are feeling a sense of loss, that is something sad. Now, why are our hearts feeling a sense of loss? Well, probably because our mother has passed. So this sense of loss is a reference to the passing of the author's mother. Let's keep going. A miracle was wrought. Well, miracle, that's a positive thing. That's a happy thought. Next. And swift as happy thought. Well, there you go. That's a happy thought. She lived again. Living again, that's another happy thought. Brave, that's a positive thing. Beautiful, that's a positive thing. Young, also a positive thing. 3 happy thoughts here: brave, beautiful, and young. Words that are all associated with someone who is swift. So choice B looks really, really good. We have a reference to a reflection on the mother's death. We have a discussion of some feelings of sadness, and we have a discussion of feelings of happiness as well, in contrast to the sadness. But we don't want to select an answer choice without looking at all 4 options. So let's move on to choice C. Choice C. The past years brought their harvest rich and fair, while memory and love together fondly wove a golden garland for the silver hair. Okay. The past years brought their harvest rich, rich is a positive word, and fair. Not sure if fair means like a sense of justice or fair means something that's okay. So we'll just skip it for now. While memory and love, love is a positive word. Memory is a positive word, especially if these are memories of love. Next, together, fondly wove. Fondly is a happy thought. A golden garland for the silver hair. Not sure what's being referenced here, but something that's gold, usually something that's positive. Look at choice C. We only see happy thoughts here. Only one part of the claim is reflected. We don't see any evidence of thinking about our mother's passing, and we don't see any evidence of sadness. For those reasons, we can eliminate choice C. Let's move on to choice D. The great deep heart that was a home for all, just, eloquent, and strong. In protest against wrong, wide charity that knew no sin, no fall. All right. Great deep heart that was a home for all. Well, that sounds really positive. A heart that's a home for all. That's a happy thought. Just, something that's just is something that's fair, equal. That's a good thing. Eloquent. Eloquent means well-spoken, positive word. Strong, also a positive word. Next, in protest against wrong. Protesting wrong is a good thing. Next, wide charity. Charity is a positive thing. That's helping the underprivileged. That knew no sin, no fall. Does fall refer to a season or does it refer to not falling down? I'm not sure, so I'm not going to worry about fall, but sin. Sin is a mistake, but the phrase is knew no sin, which means didn't do mistakes. That's also a positive thing. So choice D only reflects happy thoughts. We don't see evidence of grief. We don't see a discussion of the mother's passing. For those reasons, we can eliminate choice D and select choice B as our final answer. because choice B is the only choice that reflects the whole claim, both the reflections on the death of the mother, both joy and happiness, and grief and sadness. B contains the claim, the whole claim, and nothing but the claim. So remember, look for the choice that contains the claim, the whole claim, and nothing but the claim. It'll be difficult at first, but you'll get better with practice, and you should practice. You should read a lot of these types of questions before you take the SAT so that you get very comfortable with eliminating partially relevant answers and finding that one correct answer choice that contains the claim, the whole claim, and nothing but the claim. A great way for you to practice is using our platform at testinnovators.com. The question that we looked at today actually comes from our free sample test that you can find on testinnovators.com/SAT. Thank you for watching. For more helpful and free SAT content, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share this video.